right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Our severe weather risk is increasing yet again, this time on Tuesday. What the fading colors mean as they get closer to St. Louis and beyond, and the best time for our severe weather threat to exist.
A violent weekend in St. Louis. Several people in their late teens shot. The growing concerns over another violent summer. Our top story, mayhem on the streets of North County.
It was wild. I mean, the aftermath is crazy.
5 people shot, an officer injured. Tonight, police blame a massive gathering of street racers and stunt drivers.
More times than not, we see the guns come out whenever that happens.
Good evening, I'm Mike Bush. Police say all the violence stemmed from a pop-up car show, also known as a slide show. It started in Bridgeton, then moved to Earth City, and then later spread to North County. Tonight, our Laura Barczewski returned to where it all began. Laura.
Mike, this slideshow started in an empty Bridgeton parking lot, which neighbors tell me got out of hand before they even left the city limits. Empty liquor bottles, trash, and the smell of burnt rubber are all that's left in the extra space storage parking lot where a car meet or slideshow took over in Bridgeton Saturday.
The aftermath is crazy for everything that's here. I mean, we've been here for our entire life pretty much, and this has never happened before. Soren
Britz says he and his friend were pulling up to the Circle K off St. Charles Rock Road when they saw hundreds of people, cars, and reckless driving.
We saw a bunch of smoke tires and everything happening over here, and there was a big group of people, so we came over here, and they were burning out and doing all the car takeover things and stuff like that.
He says his friend's girlfriend was trapped at McDonald's, and the whole scene was concerning.
Those people that are driving them cars don't really have any care for anybody else's safety.
Britz's friend Travis Elliott says they eventually left the parking lot, but the commotion continued all night.
We live right off of the Cypress over here, and it's right next to the highway, so we heard people get on the highway and racing all night.
The Major K Squad was activated after reports of a shooting near the Earth City Expressway. Bridgeton police officers were met with gunfire as people tried to drive away. At least 4 people were injured and 1 was transported to the hospital in critical condition. This was all happening close to St. Anne city limits. Captain Blake Kerrigan says the St. Anne Police Department received several calls about it and ended up assisting Bridgeton police with the dangerous situation.
Extremely dangerous. Anytime you get a large amount of people, gathered up like that, in vehicles, doing donuts, doing unsafe activities, and then more times than not, we see the guns come out whenever that happens. And unfortunately, we've seen the result last night.
St. Louis County Police say in court documents some of the drivers ended up on Newhall's Ferry Road, where they saw a man driving erratically in a blue Dodge Charger, hitting other cars and nearly hitting people. Officers started walking toward the car when the driver, they now know is Antoine Hunter, then turned on one of them, hitting the officer and pinning them against another car. They say Hunter drove a little further, then got out of the car and started running, but they were able to catch up and take him into custody. Antoine Hunter is still in the hospital, but is being held on a $500,000 cash bond for several charges, including assault, armed criminal action, and resisting arrest. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 1-866-371-TIPS. There is a $5,000 reward.
A violent weekend on the streets of St. Louis, raising concerns tonight about teen summer violence. And it isn't even Memorial Day yet. Annie Krall is live now outside St. Louis Police Headquarters with the push to curb this troubling trend. Annie.
Police say a quadruple shooting last night just down Olive Street came less than 4 hours after a 17-year-old was shot and injured near the Forest Park Metrolink station. Gun violence awareness leaders already fearing for the young people and their family now that many schools are out for the summer.
4 people shot Saturday night along a busy stretch of Olive Street, just steps from some popular restaurants in the campus of Harris Stowe State University. One business manager tells 5 on Your Side there were about 200 young people gathered in a parking lot late Saturday night, ending in gunfire. St. Louis police say 19-year-old Eddie Randall Jr. was killed. 3 other people survived, some of them teens. Just a few hours earlier, a 17-year-old girl was shot and injured near the Forest Park de Bolivar Metrolink station. That shooting happening exactly 1 week after 19-year-old Jordan Gunn shot and killed at the same Metrolink station. A 17-year-old has been charged with her murder.
I'm still saddened and I'm also shocked.
Sharon Williams with Moms Demand Action, continually frustrated by so many people, not even 20 yet, having access to guns.
my own grandson is getting ready to graduate from high school, and that these young people some of them aren't going to make it to graduation, and that's sad because their lives are being cut short at an alarming rate, and we don't seem to have the answer to keep that from happening.
It's the kind of teen violence we saw last year on Father's Day during a large party. 17-year-old Mikhail Moore was killed, 11 other injured after suspected multiple shooters opened fire in an office workspace environment on Washington Avenue.
More parents not really knowing where their children are at that time of the evening. They need to have a safe place where they can enjoy themselves. But we find that even in that incident that happened last year, that more than likely kids themselves set that whole situation up where they were partying.
Williams emphasized that Memorial Day is always a bad weekend for more shots being fired and even more people getting hurt. Reporting live in St. Louis, Annie Kroll, 5 on your side.
And tonight, charges have been filed against a woman accused in the attack of a St. Louis police officer that may cost him his vision in his left eye. 35-year-old Camaria Williams is charged with assault and resisting arrest. This happened Friday night in North City in the area of Carter Avenue and Sintra Avenue. According to court documents, a teen hit the officer in the face several times with his flashlight after Williams restrained him. Tonight, the Major K Squad is investigating after gunfire caused chaos at a high school graduation in Cape Girardeau. This happened this afternoon at the Show Me Center on the campus of Southeast Missouri State University. Investigators say a single shot was fired during a fight in the upper concourse, halting the ceremony and forcing the evacuation of graduates and their families. 2 people suffered non-life-threatening injuries. 1 person was taken into custody. Cape Central High School canceled the remainder of the ceremony. It will be rescheduled for a later date. A warm night across St. Louis. We hit 90 degrees for the first time this year. This summer-like weather is sticking around for a few days and fueling a storm alert for Tuesday and Wednesday. Meteorologist Gary Frank is tracking it all in the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, good evening. We've had a nice break from severe weather, and that's probably not what you want to hear to start the week, but we want to prepare you ahead as we head into the overnight hours. It's still heating up, believe it or not. We've still got a couple of warm days very close to it tomorrow and even warmer on Tuesday. We'll stay mostly dry to start, but that severe weather returns, thus the impact days that we're looking at ahead. Now, outside right now, it's quiet, but we're looking at storms off to the west, a tornado warning, and a wide area of a severe thunderstorm warning. And anytime we look at this, this is the time of the year where these storm complexes generally drift our way and either weaken or hold together. Right now, I'm forecasting this to weaken because we're looking at 2 different things here as a part of this storm system. You have this little spinning area here, that's going to the north, and then this bowing outline going to the south. I think that kind of loses its core, weakens. It's not out of the question that this may have a lingering early storm that Anthony will check in, but that's not really what Monday is indicative of. Temperatures still at 80 at this hour. It's hot and humid. It will struggle to dip below 70. I think overall it is quiet, but those storms are headed our way Tuesday and Wednesday, different time frames. We'll talk about our storm threats, and we're still going to see flash flooding as a concern as well.
And you can stay on top of this week's storm alert. The Weather First team will constantly update the forecast on air on KSDK.com and on the 5 on Your Side app, also streaming on 5+. You can also text the word weather to 314-425-5355 and we'll send it to your phone. Just hours ago, thousands packed Market Street in downtown St. Louis for the 2nd largest African-American parade in the country. It was the 114th Annie Malone May Day Parade, the largest fundraiser for the Children and Family Services Center, named for the cosmetics pioneer and philanthropist. 5 on Your Side's Travis Cummings spoke with the woman leading this year's longtime tradition.
Long ties, born and raised, so St. Louis.
It's a day to be loud and proud.
What are you excited about most, getting this opportunity to serve as Grand Marshal this year?
So I'm really excited about getting the word out about mental and physical health in our community. I'm also just excited to celebrate our city.
Affinia Healthcare CEO Dr. Kendra Holmes is elated to lead such a long-time tradition in her hometown. Her health center's mission is reflective of the 114th annual Annie Malone Day Parade theme, connecting physical health to mental health and wellness.
For many years, especially in the Black community, healthcare is not welcoming. So I don't really put all of the responsibility on the patient. I put a lot of responsibility on healthcare providers, that we need to do our part to be trustworthy, to provide quality healthcare to underserved patients.
The Annie Malone Children and Family Service Center that helps families in crisis is happy to get behind the effort.
Because we all just need a hug and sometimes a mental break. You know, mental health is just so in our face and relevant right now, and I think more and more people are becoming comfortable with speaking up, and we're teaching our kids that it's okay, that sometimes you're not okay.
Bands rolled in between different organizations down Market Street for the second largest African American parade in the country. The name Annie Malone speaks volumes. The chemist and entrepreneur became a millionaire by successfully developing and marketing hair products for black women in the city. This is Natalie Nesbitt's 10th year.
Love, peace, it's friendly today, no violence.
As for the theme, highlighting the brain and body,
That's the top number one thing.
We need the connection. They marry each other.
Travis Cummings, 5 on your side.
And 5 on your side is a proud sponsor of the parade. Members of our team and the 5+ Live Bus were part of today's festivities. They're serving seniors lunch with a side of joy.
What they're doing matters. They are making a difference in our community.
The group of high schoolers using their unique abilities and providing nourishment for the body and soul.
Temperatures today over 90 degrees for the first time all season long, but there are more days ahead as the heat and humidity builds. Why that's fuel for storms as we see our next severe weather chance.
Making a Difference is sponsored by Midwest Bank Center.
A group of unlikely heroes is proving that the power of connection and compassion knows no bounds. In tonight's Making a Difference report, we take you about an hour northeast of St. Louis, where the generation gap is being bridged one smile at a time.
I'm so proud of this. I am.
We're proud of you.
In Greenville, Illinois, they're cooking up a special recipe for understanding and connection. Welcome to lunchtime at the Bond County Senior Center, where a group of high school students serves up both meals and smiles.
Yeah, you too.
It's very meaningful to us. We run on volunteers.
The volunteer students are from nearby Greenville High School. And whether it's preparing meals,
Do about 16 bowls. 16 bowls, yes, sir.
or ensuring spotless floors, these dedicated teenagers pour their hearts into every task.
I like the people here. I think they're very friendly here.
Hi, Nathan. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
19-year-old Nathan Heckman is one of the committed volunteers. He finds joy in the simple acts of service and the rapport he has with the seniors.
Have a good day, sir. I like talking to people. I like working really hard. I like hands-on activities.
What makes Nathan and his fellow student volunteers exceptional is that they all have special needs. But it's their unique abilities and perspectives that make their contributions to the Senior Center so valuable.
Nathan's a happy-go-lucky kid. He's always joking around with them, and I think that gives them, a sense of youngness, makes them feel young.
And for the students, teacher Karen Clark has witnessed a transformation.
The relationships that they make out into the community, the social skills they're developing, and just the confidence they're gaining is awesome.
Hello.
Hey, Caden, how are you?
17-year-old Caden Hardis seems to have a sense of purpose.
Makes me feel proud and happy.
The impact of the effort is perhaps most profound during lunchtime, when volunteer Toby McLean, who has autism, fills the room with familiar melodies on the piano, creating a scene of kinship and caring.
Oh, they have big hearts. We're a small community, and so we don't have a lot of people that are willing to do these things.
In a town that welcomes visitors with arms wide open, these students show that the power of compassion can bridge generations and abilities.
What they're doing matters. They are making a difference in our community.
At the Bond County Senior Center,
You want milk?
they're blending together some key ingredients. kindness, purpose, and understanding.
It's wonderful to watch.
Nathan told me when he gets older, he'd like to study the weather and become a meteorologist. And a reminder, if you know someone making a difference for others, let me know at mbush@ksdk.com. The annual Folds of Honor campaign, sponsored by Schnucks, is now underway. From now until May 28th, you can round up at the register. Money raised goes towards scholarships for spouses and children of fallen and wounded service members and first responders. 5 on Your Side is a proud partner. Meteorologist Gary Frank rejoins us now with that Weather First forecast. 90 today, and it sounds like that may be the kind of fuel that these storms need, Gary.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt. And even though the busy weather days we've had in the upper 80s, we get heat, we get humidity, we get a lack of cloud cover. You know, the average day for the first 90-degree weather in St. Louis is May 20th, so not far off as we hit it today. In fact, we exceeded that, and that's going to be a general trend over the next couple of days. Still 83. You know, when we get to these times of the year where it's still hot and muggy, even at 10 o'clock, that's when you feel things. Our dew point now up to 63. We got to 91 today. That south-southeast breeze continues, but I wanted to show you a different picture of this big storm complex. This is the time of the year when we see these. Thunderstorms develop downrange right over the Rockies. They kind of morph together in one big blob and then head our way or weekend, and we get cloud cover. And sometimes in July, this feels really good. It gives us a break from the really oppressive heat. But today, we're going to watch the movement of some of these storms. And I think what we're seeing is more development along this, but we're also going to see clouds and probably some storms to some degree in our area. But it's going to be that little spin here that's actually maybe indicative of a few more storms that develop. You'll notice how it's weakening now. I don't want you to go to bed and worry about storms, but it's not out of the question. Anthony will get up and track a few of them. I think more of them are going to be north of Quincy along a boundary. But for us, it's our severe weather risk. Marginal on Monday, but it's Tuesday and even Wednesday, which we'll get to, that we start to see those different colors from an enhanced risk to even a slight risk. This is going to be a pretty common thing we show you for the first 3 days. And one of the reasons is we're going to see a dip in the jet stream. We've got some more fuel. We have the fuel, right? We have the heat, we have the humidity, but we have that all the time, and we don't see the driving factor. And that's what we're going to see as this system dips down into the four corners. We have wind, we have lift, and that's going to generate the potential for severe weather. Now for tomorrow, I think we're quiet, and Tuesday we've got a lot of heat and humidity, and you don't have to worry about Tuesday being a busy day at all until after sunset. Watch this line of storms here in central Missouri. Now, you would think that it will weaken as it gets past sunset, and you wouldn't be wrong, but I think as we get to 8, 9, 10 o'clock, I think there are going to be some other factors that keep that together here at this point. So what we're going to watch out for is more strong storms. Let's talk about it being after 8 o'clock with 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, hail, and even a brief tornado threat. Because of the timing as things wind down, as this front moves away on Wednesday, you'll notice that it's not fully out of here. It kind of hangs around. And I think as a result, we may see more development around 44 and even further south. Behind the front, maybe a few showers with clouds and a nicer day. But there are two specific days, Tuesday and Wednesday. Let's call it Tuesday after 8 o'clock and then Wednesday really in the afternoon. Those are our busiest days. We'll dry out for a couple of days then. And then Saturday and Sunday and Monday into Memorial Day weekend. There are going to be some hit and miss rain chances, but not a washout day at this point.
I'm Paul Cook, your traffic guy on Today in St. Louis, and we're on the move. Have you ever driven the infamous Chester, Illinois bridge? It's about an hour south of St. Louis. This old bridge has worried drivers for some time. The Chester Bridge connects Chester, Illinois to Perryville, Missouri on Route 51. 7,000 drivers brave this one every day, and it's a pretty important bridge because it's the only one south of our viewing area that crosses the Mississippi near Cape Girardeau. It was built in 1942. Then the Chester Bridge had to be rebuilt again 2 years later after it was reportedly destroyed by a tornado. Now, 80 years later, the old bridge has seen better days. Here's the good news. A new bridge is already underway. Compliments of funding by both MoDOT and IDOT. It's going up now, right next to the old one. This bridge will be twice as wide to better accommodate today's traffic. They're calling it the Don Welge Memorial Bridge, named in honor of the former Chester resident and longtime bridge advocate. Illinois Transportation Secretary Omar Osman said he's proud of the partnership with Missouri to replace and upgrade another of our border bridges, and that the bridge is, quote, essential to the economy and livelihood of the entire Midwest. Construction of the new bridge is expected to be completed by December of 2026. The Old Chester Bridge will no longer be in service. Do you have an on-the-move story like the Chester Bridge story or another traffic headache to tell me about? Reach out, pcook1@ksdk.com. And make sure to watch Today in St. Louis each weekday for all of your morning traffic. Paul Cook, 5 on your side.
A presidential address at a college commencement. President Biden's message to graduates who turned their back to the commander-in-chief. Developing tonight, officials say there is no sign of life at the crash site of a helicopter carrying Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi. The helicopter crashed this morning during thick fog in a remote mountainous region of northern Iran. A mixed reaction from President Joe Biden as he delivered the commencement address at Morehouse College in Atlanta. As the president took the stage, alumni and audience members cheered, while many graduating students remained seated and silent. Some even turned away from him, protesting his handling of the Israel-Hamas war.
In a democracy, we debate and dissent about America's role in the world. I want to say this very clearly. I support peaceful, nonviolent protest. Your voices should be heard, and I promise you I hear them.
The president reiterated his calls for immediate ceasefire in Gaza and more humanitarian aid. She stole the show on NBC's The Voice, and tonight the feat Ruby Lee completed a year ahead of schedule. 6 months ago, she was representing Team Reba and was the runner-up on NBC's The Voice. Now, Ruby Lee is a high school graduate. The teen yodeling sensation from Foley, Missouri, celebrated her 17th birthday on Friday by receiving her diploma from her online school in Orlando, Florida. She was back on the stage the next night in Waterloo, Illinois for Firebird Fest. And there you have it. 5 on your side at 10. Don't forget to start your day with Today in St. Louis. That begins at 4 a.m. And now here's Frank Cusimano with Sports Plus.